So, Brendan, as a creative, now you're left with more energy to focus on what it is that you do best, which is providing me some music. That being said, what is it like being Brendan Benson right now? How involved are you on the business end of things, and what are some areas that you'd rather delegate out, and what are some areas that you actually enjoy being part of?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've been in this business, for 15, 20 years or something, I guess, now, and I've never cared to know anything about it, I was never interested in, I went where they told me to go. I talked to people that they told me to talk to, and for once in my life, I think I've taken an interest in it, and it's because of Emily. She talks to me in a way that, makes sense, it's not just, I don't know, like I kind of was part of an old school, like I caught the end of an old school, like I was plugged into a system which was failing and was, hemorrhaging money. They were signing bands in the 90s for, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Didn't Virgin tell you in the 90s that they wanted you to be the next Beck?
Yeah, Beck was
as
coming up
opposed to just Brendan Benson.
at the same time as I was. Yeah, it's true. It did a number on my head, without even knowing it, without even being conscious of it. They were saying it was me and Beck almost. That's how they were sort of, pitting us or whatever, And of course, there was no competing with Beck. So yeah, it was just Emily has, I don't know, I still don't have a firm grasp on how this thing works, how it works, and, ironically, I run a label now, but I don't really, it's Emily that's running the label.
Yeah, but here's why it works, because you've been so prolific in the past year. You make my job easy because you produce 6 albums in a month. That's in a year. It's not that quick.
That would be quite a few.
But that's a label right
I
there.
can do it.
And when I saw that again, it's like, dare I say, we're a brand, we're a family.
In major record labels, I remember, there being so many, departments, and then so many chances for departments to break down. With Readymade, it's really me and M, first and foremost, and then there's 30 Tigers, and there's helpers for sure, but helpers that are working on commission, which I love that concept, and I think it makes sense to me, You do the work, it sells, you make money, right? Not like it's an easy sell, it lands on your desk. It's the Spice Girls, or it's Brendan Benson. Well, I'm gonna sell the Spice Girls because I don't want to get fired. I'm not gonna take a chance on, this is the easy sell, so,
Well, and the thing is, we're here because of you, you made the music, you haven't been paid yet. I'm used to getting paid later as a manager and working on commission. I don't understand, and no offense to promo people, there's brilliant promo people in the world, but I couldn't, justify in my head why they should get their check before Brendan, who made the record and invested in it, so.
Right. Yeah, it's weird, or, not naming names, there's I know tour managers who make more money than, who have houses in, $1 million houses in California, and whilst my friends, who play in these bands, are still struggling, and I don't know. Maybe that's, I've been accused of being sort of cynical, and I think rightfully so after.
Yeah, 4 albums, 4 labels.
Yeah. Well, on the opposite side of the spectrum, young Hines, you are an artist that's coming to the surface now. So how has having a team of professionals working on your behalf changed the way you approach your artistry? Are you more inspired? Do you feel any pressure that you now have to deliver because people's own careers essentially rely on your success now?
A little stand-agra. I should invent that. That'd be a good
stand-agra.
Stand-agra. Anyway,
Story of your life.
Start off like that. Yeah. Anyway, how is it For my artistry,
Yeah, how does it change the way you approach now that you have a whole team backing you and you don't have to kind of do more things yourself?
right.
You kind of have to do more things.
Yeah,
now,
I'm
actually,
definitely
right?
doing a lot more now, but
We keep
but,
them busy.
but still, that's a great question because part of my story was I was in Chicago in 2003. I was driving across, on several trips where I was driving myself and band members or whoever for no guarantees in New York where we would just go. And one of those trips, I was going across the Verrazano Bridge and I had a record. It was called La Palco by one Brendan Benson. About the same time, I guess now that you're saying that, Beck and all that stuff. I can see that. I think you're better. But
Thanks, Jan.
I popped it in and I listened to it and I was frustrated because I felt like it had gotten to a point where ability didn't so much matter. It really was the connections and things. So I got frustrated with it, and when I heard his record, it was like green light to get a tape machine at home. It's this great record that sounds, and now knowing him and talking to him, he recorded it on his own terms, and that was inspiring. So for the next several years after that, I just kind of held up in my house and recorded songs that were pertinent to my life and not at all curious or interested if anybody even liked them past me. There were things that were the truth, and for several years I wrote just that way with the idea of no one would ever hear it, inspired by people like himself. And there's a list of other guys that I really think are truth speakers. And you say Spice Girls and things like that. I was never interested in that. American Idol, none of that kind of thing appeals to me. It's great for people that do it, and I'm glad they're out there. But I do think that having all those songs written and then going through this, and now I'm afforded the right to help push my record, and I go online and I look for things that could be beneficial to my career, and I'll send them to Emily, and creatively though, as an artist, I think it's just opened up a lot of things. I found that maybe I'm not just a songwriter, maybe there's a lot of things in an artier sense I might like to do, if it was directing or producing, like Brendan does himself. So yeah, I guess it's just really opened my mind, opened my mind to more possibilities. If you had told me in 2003 I'd be sitting on a panel with Brendan Benson talking about the label, I couldn't have imagined it, but now that we're here, I can imagine a lot of things that we could probably do.